Hello, I'm Danny Glover, and I am so sorry I'm not with you today as you convene this important conference of young workers, the Young Workers Council of the UAW and Region B, and the work that you're doing as well. I wanted to celebrate that, acknowledge that. I also want to thank Dennis Williams, the president of UAW, on behalf of the Veterans of Civil Rights, for making a significant contribution to the events of Freedom Summit this year. We learned so much from that moment, and thank you once again, Dennis, for really participating in this momentous event this summer. The theme of this conference is how do we empower young workers and empower them in the sense of not only their capacity to win greater rights within the workplace, but also their capacity as community organizers as well. It is important that they get involved and engaged, not simply in what is happening in the workplace, but what is happening in the communities as well, to win broader rights in society, broader rights around justice in society. So the key things that we have to talk about certainly and should be addressed and will be addressed in this conference are the issues around, one, organizing for justice, two, organizing within the community, organizing non-union workers, which is a critical moment, and the right to organize. The right to organize is one of those hard-fought battles that have been carried out from the 19th century. You know, only 80 years ago, nearly 80 years ago, did workers win the right to organize. A watershed moment in the Depression. During the Depression, they won the right to organize. From that moment on, there's been an attempt to dissemble that. From that moment on, there's been an attempt to disenfranchise workers, whether it be Taft-Hartley and other enactments that were passed that would organize, that would keep us from organizing and doing the work that's necessary in building a strong middle class. And it is that workers are the ones, unions are the ones who have now built the middle class and sustained the middle class. But right now we're in a dire situation where we have more non-union jobs, low-wage jobs, and those low-wage jobs are really attacked on young people, they're attacked on women particularly, and people of color. We have to mobilize, and that's why I said mobilize in this particular point in time, to fight those as well. We have to take our energy and use our resources, and this is important for us as those who believe in unions to use those resources now in order to fight the inequity that exists in the economy. You've inherited this inequity. Look at what has happened 50 years ago within the civil rights movements in Mississippi in 1964. There were young people there who came to Mississippi, young people who came from around the country to win the right to vote for people who had been disenfranchised for decades. You've become a part of that legacy, that young people have the energy and have the wisdom to reform the new leadership of tomorrow. Right in Mississippi right now, we've been working with Nissan workers for more than a year and a half. And we know that it is important for us to continue and sustain the battle. Only with the sustaining the battle for the right of Nissan workers do we now work on the behalf of not only them in the plant, but also workers within the community and workers in the labor movement all over this country. So we have to maintain a vigilant fight against those who want to lessen our voice within the workplace and therefore diminish our capacity within the democracy. So in this campaign, what has happened? Calvin Moore was fired just recently, some time ago. He was fired because he was trying to organize workers. So they were using intimidation tactics in order to lessen people's or to frighten them from organizing workers and asking for a union. The fight at Nissan in Canton, Mississippi is simple. It's a fight to get the vote to decide whether workers want a union. We have to support them. Workers from Nissan have gotten support from around the world. They've gotten support from South Africa. They've gotten support from Brazil. They've gotten support from Australia. They've gotten support where Nissan has plants. And not only has plants, they also deal with the union. They also deal with the union. And that's important to know, that Nissan could deal with the union in other places in the world, but not deal with them in Mississippi and Tennessee. I had the opportunity to speak just recently at a conference in Vancouver of Uniform. Uniform is a new union formed by the Canadian auto workers as well as other workers. And Uniform, the largest union now in Canada, is now beginning to initiate a campaign against Toyota, to unionize Toyota. Wherever there's a fight for labor rights, wherever there's a fight in terms of workers' rights, those have to be right there. We have to be the center of that, building solidarity among each other. So workers in Canada support workers in the United States and other places in the world, and vice versa. So building that level of solidarity is another key in building and broaden the issues around labor, around equity in the world, and that's our responsibility. You have to take the reins of leadership now. You have to get in those communities. You have to talk about the right to organize. You have to talk about that as something that is sacred, the right to organize and to build and connect those issues within the society and those issues in the workplace right now. We say now, we have a saying that workers' rights, labor rights, or civil rights. In the 21st century, this is what we're talking about, the right to exist, workers' rights, labor rights, or civil rights. Workers' rights, labor rights, or civil rights. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful, wonderful conference.